At my wedding, my mother smiled and announced they were transferring the apartment her parents had given us over to my sister. My sister laughed and told me to relax. It was just a place to sleep. My father said it was decided and that my sister had 4 kids and I needed to grow up. Then my fiancé looked at all 3 of them, took her ring off, set it on the table, and told them exactly what she thought. None of them had prepared for that. Lena and I had been together for 3 years before the wedding. I work in logistics coordination, and she runs a small accounting practice she built entirely on her own. She is the most deliberate person I have spent significant time with. She thinks before she says anything, and she means it when she says it, and she does not react without intention. Her taking that ring off in front of my entire family at the reception table was not a moment of emotion. It was a conclusion she had arrived at well before she sat down, and she was simply waiting for them to give her the opening to deliver it. The apartment matters to this story, so I want to be clear about it. Lena's parents gave it to us as a wedding gift 2 years before the ceremony. Her family had purchased the property as a long-term investment, and when we became engaged, her parents transferred ownership to both of us as a way of giving us something solid to start on. Both names were on the deed the day we signed. My family knew about it because I had told them when it happened, and I had been glad and wanted to share that. I did not understand at the time what they were filing away for later. My family has always treated anything stable in my life as something they were waiting to access when the moment felt right. Every salary increase was followed by a request from someone. Every period of stability was treated as an opportunity. I had managed that for years without making a large issue of it because they were my family, and I believed it was my problem to handle. Lena had watched all of it without saying much because it was not yet her place to say it. She had her limits, though. At the reception, before the first course was served, my mother stood up as if she were giving a toast. She was smiling the way she smiles when she has already decided something and wants the room to receive it as wonderful news. She announced that the family had thought carefully and decided the apartment Lena's parents had given us would be transferred over to my sister, who had 4 children and clearly needed the space far more than a young couple just starting out together. She said it with the total confidence of someone announcing something they believe has already been settled. My sister raised her glass from across the room and looked at me and said to relax. It was just a place to sleep, and that they knew I would understand because I always did. My father nodded and said my sister had 4 kids and that I was an adult and needed to start behaving like one. The table went completely quiet. I looked at Lena. She was looking at my mother with an expression I had never seen her wear before, completely still. She reached down and slid the ring off her left hand and set it flat on the table in front of her without any drama at all. Then she stood up and spoke at a level that did not need to be raised because the room had already gone silent on its own. She said the apartment was not mine to give and not their decision to discuss, that it was in her name and mine, and that no transfer had taken place and none would. She said she had spent 3 years watching my family treat my stability as something they were entitled to reach into, and she had said nothing because it was not yet her position to address. She said it was now. She looked directly at my mother and said that if this was how they intended to begin her marriage, she needed everyone present to understand that she was not the same kind of person I was, that she was not manageable, and that any future conversation about any asset that carried her name would be the last one she had with whoever started it. Then she picked the ring up, put it back on her finger, and sat down. My mother tried to speak. Lena looked at her and said she was not finished. Then after a pause, she said she was finished now. My father said nothing for the rest of the evening. My sister left before dessert. Lena and I drove to the hotel, and she did not bring any of it up again until the following morning when she asked quietly if I was okay. I told her I had never been more certain about anything. She nodded, opened her laptop, and transferred the apartment fully into her name alone. She said she would put it back once things settled. That was 2 years ago. We decided there was no reason to.